Hey all you kayakers, I feel like that's getting old, like, that doesn't make sense, because my channel isn't pond themed anymore. Anyway, so, today I'm doing something that I've done technically before, but I have never, like, posted about it, and that's making a character for a quote-unquote fandom. I'll just show a sketchbook page I made of, like, keeping track of all of the characters I have from different fandoms on the screen right now. But, so, like, obviously I've made them before. And lately I've been getting a bit back into it just for fun, because it's fun to not... Okay, so I have characters that I want to make, but they don't fit into my own story, so I make them in other stories, basically. And I don't want to make, like, a whole new story for them, because I've tried that before, and it does not work for me really well. But, so, you may be wondering, what are we going to be making a character for today? And that's where my new hyperfixation comes in. I am extremely obsessed with this. It's really just someone's OCs. And that's what's sad about it, because there's not a whole lot about it, and now I have to watch all of their videos, and the person whose OCs I'm obsessed with, it goes by the name of Dolly Dutch Hound. Yeah, that's the worst pronunciation I've ever heard. It's Dolly Dachshund, I think, which her videos are amazing. She's literally the best. She recently made a video that got recommended to me where she basically different ways to make different characters or whatever. She made like a character for a fandom in that, and then I was like, I should make a character for her OC thing. I don't know what to call it. Original story, the Carlette Show, because that video was, I've watched it before, but I've never seen anything about the Carlette Show. And then I saw Valentine. I've never been so madly in love in my entire life. But yeah, that basically sums it up. But I'm not gonna self-ship right now, because technically the character I'm going to be making is like a quote-unquote self-insert, but she doesn't look anything like me. It's just like she has similarities to me, but she's a lot less extroverted than me, which now I'm trying to spoil the video for you. What am I even doing right now? What? So yeah, I'm making a Carlette Show OC. I'm not quite sure what her name is. While honestly I might come up with a name. I can just grab one from my baby name book, but I'm currently going to call her Theodora, or Theo for short, because it's just easier to have a name to call her, because I actually do know almost everything else about her, except for her name. Anyways, let's get into the speed paint. So before we get into the speed paint, I'd like to say I tried something that I never have before. I tried like to render, because I was trying to like kind of emulate some of the things in Dolly's art style, but I don't know if I did it well. I can't tell. I genuinely can't tell. I'm like blind now. This drawing blinded me. So I'm gonna be calling her Theodora, because that's actually world's first mime. She was also like an empress of like Rome or something. I don't know. Maybe it was Egypt. I'm not sure. She was an important person that was also a mime. So that's why I'm using that. Also because I overall really like the name Theodora and wish that was my name. So I suppose I'll tell you a bit about how I imagine her to be. I imagine she's like a bit closed off. Like, I don't know if she's necessarily introverted, but she doesn't talk a whole lot. And like, I imagine well, as you can see, there's a paintbrush in the drawing, so yeah, she would have like a Bob Ross type segment in the show, which I'm actually super... This is my one question that I can't get out of my head. Is the Carlette Show like a show? Or is it like a show? Like, is it on television or is it like you go to it? Because if it's on television, then how does the Valentine thing work? With him not being able to be seen on like cameras and stuff. I'm super confused. And also couldn't he just like look at himself in like the recordings? Okay, anyway. That had nothing to do with anything, but it was just a question I've been asking myself over and over, like trying to get around that, and I'm like, you can't. So I imagine I didn't want her to end up having a segment in the end. So basically she would have like had a segment for a little bit, maybe even just in like the pilot, but then like they cut it or something for some reason, and now she ends up being used as like a comic relief and showing up in other people's segments sometimes, like I don't know, maybe when the show is low on ratings or something. Considering it has ratings and isn't a stage show, I should have commented at some point asking that. I just wasn't sure if I was gonna get answered, so I didn't. But so she kind of has a stage persona instead of like being herself. She has more of a stage persona. I have no examples. I was gonna say like think so-and-so, but I have literally no examples, so but she has more of a stage persona other than like who she actually is, because she's very like private with her personal life. Like she doesn't do interviews or anything, and overall I feel like half of this was just me trying not to make it a Mary Sue, and I think I can accomplish that. I don't think she's a Mary Sue, but she might be like so starkly opposite of a Mary Sue that it's a bit of a problem, because she has no part in this at all. But I also just thought it would be like an interesting concept to have like a character that's like that, who is closed off and stuff, because I don't have, well, technically I do, but you don't know about any of my closed off characters or any of my extroverted characters other than Pippin, so wahaha. I feel like her stage persona would be very silly and like kind of dramatic, because I feel like I don't want this to be a self-insert. Well, like, I guess I wouldn't care, but like it isn't necessarily a self-insert, but I wanted to have some of the qualities of myself, because I always put some sort of qualities of myself in my OCs. So like whenever I'm acting, which isn't very often, but I do love doing it, whenever I'm acting, I tend to go for the more like dramatic roles, because it's more fun to do, and like it's something that I personally can pull off pretty well because of my zero self-respect. It's not that I don't have self-respect, it's that I don't care what other people think of me, because I'm supposed to be like this. I don't know. But whenever she is not acting, she's very different. She thinks very highly of herself and is kind of quiet. I wouldn't call her an introvert, but also obviously not extroverted. I feel she's kind of an ambivert. It depends on who she's around. If she's somewhere she thinks she belongs, or like where she quote-unquote deserves to be, I don't know what that would mean, but I think that she'd be a little more extroverted, at least like socializing or something. I'm not sure. So I was thinking about like relationship, like friendships, because I don't think she'd be the sort of person for love. but like friendships with anyone else on the cast of like the Carlette Show, because like, bro, like half of me forgot she was even a part of that. I tend to do that with my self-insert sometimes. At first I wasn't sure because she's introverted. Well, no, she's ambiverted, sorry. Well, she overall is more of an extroverted introvert, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it just depends on where she is. So I wasn't sure if she'd be friends with anybody, but maybe I feel like she might be friends with Clementine, because I feel like they have a similar fashion sense. Like, if she wasn't in her like technical like uniform or whatever, which actually I do need to talk about her uniform in a second, but well, not uniform, but like costume. She enjoys wearing black more and can definitely appreciate Clementine's more alternative style. But I'm still not sure. I don't know. I'm trying. I think I'm trying way too hard to make this not a self-insert. Let's just say, yeah, she's friends with Clementine. And also because Clementine is an extrovert, and I feel she doesn't respect introverts as much. Because I can see her getting annoyed, which is kind of hypocritical, but like getting annoyed at someone who's like, oh, I'm just so shy. Okay, so now talking about the design. So what was going through my mind was, I personally I call myself a fancy tomboy. So I wanted a little bit of that to show, because that's just how I like to design. I felt like doing this because, I don't know, I just wanted to. I just wanted her to be in more of a suit sort of situation. But also, I remember, I don't know what I was watching, but it was something about like they used to, like different articles. I don't know from what time, but I think that it would also fit a bit into the 50s, because in the 50s they were trying to get the women back into the house. They were trying to make them quit working and stuff. But like, there were articles that would say stuff like, don't wear suits, women, because you just look like someone who's like wearing like a little kid who's wearing their dad's clothes. And I was like, since she's a clown, like, that would make kind of sense, because they're almost propaganda-ish. Like, you look like a clown in a suit, woman. She probably wouldn't exactly know that, though. Like, I don't know. I don't think they wouldn't know that, and I feel like no one would verbally say that. But like, that's kind of what it's going for. Oh look, while I was yapping, the drawing finished. Yay! That drawing took me like 4 to 6 hours. I can't remember. I'll probably put it on the screen right now. But it was quite a doozy of a drawing, because I've never rendered before. I always just do shading, and now I actually tried rendering it, and it was super fun, but it was also really hard. I would have liked to make her clothes more baggy, but I didn't think I was ready for that with my rendering, so I'll have to make some sort of sketch of her that I'll probably put on my community tab that actually has more baggy clothes to go with the, you look like, go with the whole thing, the clothing that I just said earlier. I don't feel like repeating that, because that's a mouthful. But I hope you like the drawing, and Dolly, if you're watching, hello. You probably aren't watching though, because I have like 10 subscribers or something. But yeah, I don't know how to end the video, so bye.